Are you frustrated with where you're at right now? Maybe stunted in your progress? Well, if you are, I want to recommend a place for you to go called Growth Day. growthday.com/ed. It is the #1 personal development app on the planet. It's got all kinds of high performance techniques in there, courses, accountability, journaling, live speeches from some of the top influencers in the world, including me. It's an overall environment to change your life. growthday.com/ed. Welcome back to the show, everybody. So today we're going to discuss one of my favorite topics, winning and a winner's mindset. And I know it's kind of an over-discussed theme and topic in life, but I think it's worth revisiting today. I'm going to give you at the end of today 9 keys to having a winner's mindset. And by the way, there are hundreds of keys to winning. I'm just going to give you 9 of them that maybe you haven't heard in a while or ever heard before. And I think winning matters in life, that we feel like at the end of our life, it counted for something. That, I believe you were born to do something great with your life. And I believe at some point in your life, you knew it. Is there anybody who ever, by the way, made you feel that way? If you're blessed, maybe there's one of them in your life. When you were a little boy or a little girl, just the way they would look at you just made you feel like you were special, that you were going to do something great, that you were born for a reason, that you had a destiny, and that life was going to be great for you. And at the end of your life, you would be proud of yourself, that if you have a God in your life, that God would be proud of you, your family would be proud of you. Think about that person. Can you picture them? Did you have that person? Maybe it was your mom or dad or a grandparent or an uncle or an aunt. Maybe it was a coach or a teacher. I don't know, but most people have somebody when they're a little boy or a little girl, if they're blessed, that just their look, the way they talked about you, the feeling you got, the energy you got when you were around them made you feel special. And if you could picture their face right now, many people, for me, that was my grandfather, my papa. He would look at me when I was a little boy. I'm named after him. I'm Edward III. And just the way he would look at me and he would tell me, "You're going to do something great, Eddie. You're going to have a great life. You're going to be the one in our family." Every time another grandkid was born in our family, it was the cutest thing because I'm the oldest grandchild and named after him. And he had a bunch of grandchildren. But every time he would have another grandchild, he would call me and say, "Your cousin was born today." I remember my great cousin Peter was born, and he said, "Hey, cousin Peter's amazing, and he's got blue eyes, and he was 6 pounds, 8 ounces or whatever it was, and we're so proud of him." And I remember going, "That's great, Papa." And he would tell me, he goes, "But hey, you're still my favorite. You're still my favorite." He just made me feel that way. Do you have that person? And if you do, just for a second, picture their face. And let me tell you something about them. Whether they've passed away, if they've passed away, honor them with the life you built. Honor them with the winning on your terms. If they're still here, make them proud of you. Make them proud of you. I just want to say something about them to you if you were just picturing their face. Many times when you picture those people's faces, it almost makes you emotional, doesn't it? Because they may be the only one who's ever seen it in you. I want to tell you something about them. They were right. They were right about you. Don't ever forget that. The reason you felt that emotion is they were right. They saw who you really are. Now, maybe nobody else has ever seen it. Maybe the world's ignored it. Maybe you've forgotten it. But I promise you, they never forgot it. They loved you, they believed in you, and they saw who you truly were. And so just know they were right. And just know from me to you, you were born to win. You were born to do something great with your life. And I think finding out what that is one of the greatest days of your life, when you discover what the win is for you. I interviewed Sal Khan on my show, and he created the Khan Academy. He was working at a big hedge fund, very brilliant man. And at one point in his life, I think he wanted to be a very wealthy man. And then he figured out that wasn't the win for him. The win for him was impact. And he created this academy that's reached 165 million people with education in 190 different countries. And I asked him when I interviewed him, "Are you glad you made that decision?" He says, "Yeah, most days I am." He got clear on what winning in life meant for him. And I think when you get clear, whether that's impact or contribution or wealth or the memories you're going to make or just the emotions you want to feel, getting clear on what winning means to you is everything in life. And so many people go through their entire life never discovering what the win would be. And I think the reason they don't discover it is they never really do the hard work of auditing what matters to me. And for the record, what mattered to you 15 years ago may not matter to you anymore. Maybe you got a lot of it and you no longer need more of it. Or maybe you just didn't get it and it wasn't what you wanted. And so getting clear on right now, what is the win for you? And when you get clear about that, then you can go to work on winning. But until you have clarity, you can't define it. Winning is measurable. It's tangible. That's why they keep score in sports. At the end, we don't have to wonder who won a game, right? It's the amount of points or the runs scored or the goals, whatever it is in life. So for you, you got to know what the goal is. You got to know what the score is. You got to know what the runs are in your life. And most people go through their entire life really not knowing. They're kind of wandering generalities. And those are the people I think that get to the end of their life. And when they get to the end, they live with regret. I don't think at the end of your life, you're going to regret the times you lost. I really don't. I've had a lot of losses in my life. I think you regret not trying. I think you will regret not chasing. I think you will regret not making the effort to get uncomfortable. I think you could really regret never even getting clear on what it means. And whatever it is to you, it's okay. It doesn't have to be what culture tells you. You know, I had a friend of mine that was just over in Italy on vacation. She goes, boy, they've got it figured out over there over the U.S. The U.S. is all hustle and grind and 6-day work weeks and achieve, accumulate. And she said, when I was over there, it was, you know, people will go to 3-hour coffees and they work 4 days a week and they just seem to be happier. And I said, well, if that's your win, if, you know, enjoyment and relaxation is the win for you, then that's a win. But there's a lot of people who grind and achievement and accumulation and contribution and making a difference and expansion is their win. Neither one's wrong. Neither one's wrong. But what is wrong is to go through life chasing something that isn't your win because someone else told you should have it, or your mom and dad did, or your peer group supports it. What's also not a great way to go through life is just like really never knowing. And I can tell you, if you ask the question enough, you'll find the answer. You know, maybe it's just that you haven't asked it enough or tried enough different things. You know, I talk to young people all the time. I say, try different things, because Matthew McConaughey said on my show, for example, sometimes life's a process of elimination and figuring out that's not what I'm good at or that's not what I want. But you don't know that if you don't try a bunch of different things. And so my challenge to you to begin today, before I give you these 9 keys to a winner's mindset, is to get clear on what it means. Because, man, that's a huge win in and of itself. I believe you're in the top 5% of people on the planet where you know what winning means for you. I think 95% of people kind of go through life as a wandering generality, just sort of not even really in pursuit or search of the win, thinking they'll get around to it. And then they get later in life. And I think that's the big regret when you look back, don't you? It's like, I didn't try. I never got clear on what it was. I didn't know what my life meant. And sometimes what you think it is, it isn't. That's why you got to try things in life. I could tell you at 53 years old, what means the most to me in winning now is very different than when I was 23, which is very different than when I was 33. The other thing I figured out at 53 is I don't know nearly as much as I thought I did. And I kind of like it. I think when I was 23 or 33, I thought I knew a whole bunch. And as you get a little bit older, life humbles you a little bit and you realize, I don't know as much as I thought I did. There's a lot more I don't know than I do know. And I like that because it makes me go through life wanting to learn, wanting to grow. For me in my life right now, when I was younger, I wanted recognition and significance. And, you know, I wanted to be somebody. You know, that was very, very important to me. And I'm not saying that it's not anymore, but my priorities now are more contribution, growth, memories and experiences. People matter, things don't to me as I get older. And sometimes you have to have a bunch of things before you figure that out. And for some people, things do matter, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it's just a matter of knowing what the win is, okay? Please get clear on that. And so this to me is sort of a winner's mindset. Things you need to have. There's hundreds of things you need, but I'm just going to name 9 today for you to think about because I want to serve you and just stimulate the winning in you. Hey guys, I want to talk to you about Shopify. Look, you know, when I started the show, the furthest thing from my mind was doing online business, and now I can't imagine my life without it. So I love Shopify because they're a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. So whether you're in the startup phase where you're just launching your online store, or you're at that really big business where you're like, hey, we just hit $1 million in order stage, Shopify is there to help you grow. They've helped me through every single stage. I wouldn't even know what to do without them. So whether you're selling shipping supplies or promoting productivity programs, Shopify helps you everywhere, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered big time. They help turn browsers into buyers. They convert their checkouts 36% better than all the leading competitors. And I've used them for everything I do online. So every single thing you see that I market online, Shopify is somehow involved. I wouldn't even know what to do without them. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Mylett, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Mylett now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Mylett. So number one, you have to believe you deserve to win. You're never going to achieve in life beyond what you believe you're worth or what you deserve to have. And I think what holds many people back from even getting clear on winning is inside, they just don't feel like they deserve to win, that they're not worthy of winning, that people like them don't win. Or maybe the fact that you've not won yet, you think predicts the future, that you're not ever going to win, that you've had enough mediocrity in your life, or maybe even losing in your life, or setbacks in your life, or people hurt you. Just not getting there, that you think that just defines the rest of my life. Well, there's lots of examples of people that I don't need to give you that won in midlife and later in life. There's also a bunch that won very young in life on their terms. And so you have to believe you deserve it. You know, I give this example all the time of the thermostat analogy, but what you believe you're worth, your identity, is like a thermostat setting on your life. Like in this studio right now, it's pretty cold. It's like 70 degrees. And it regulates the temperature in this room. So if in my life, outside right now, it's about 90. And so as it gets hotter and hotter and hotter outside, what's this thermostat do? It cools the room back down to what it's regulated at, which is 70 degrees. Okay. Our lives work that way as well. If we only believe we're worth 70 degrees of happiness or success or wealth or abundance, if we start to heat our life up and we start to produce some real results, what ends up happening is we subconsciously or unconsciously turn the air conditioners on of our life and cool it back down to what we believe we deserve to have, what we believe we're worth. And so you have to believe you deserve it. You got to increase your thermostat setting to create the capacity and the space for that life to fit inside of it. If you don't have the deserving, there's no space for it to exist, right? But what's great, once you believe you deserve to win, it opens up a whole new door in your life to a whole new room. I really look at this like once you believe you deserve to win, it opens this new room. And what happens is it's almost like an empty room. What happens is though your mind goes to work on furnishing that room with the people, the places, the things, the objects, the feelings, the emotions that furnish that space that you're now opened up to. But if you don't believe you deserve to win, the door's closed and you can't get in there. So the first things first is to believe that you deserve it and to really do the work on that, and to repeat that to yourself, to work on your self-confidence, to keep the promises you make to yourself. One of the fastest ways to getting to believe you deserve it is to work on your self-confidence. And one of the ways you work on your self-confidence is you keep the promises that you make to yourself. When you keep making those small promises and you keep them to yourself, you open up the capacity because you start to say to yourself, man, I'm doing things other people aren't willing to do. I deserve to have a life other people aren't going to get. So when you do difficult things, you begin to believe you deserve to win because you're doing things other people aren't willing to do or things you weren't willing to do before. And so believe you deserve to win. Number two, the big time winners, they don't want to just win. They want to dominate. I could tell you that the winners that I know, they don't want to just win. They want to dominate. They don't want to just beat you by a little bit. They want to run up the score. I think about the Michael Jordans or the Tom Bradys or anybody in sports that you really admire. They want to dominate. Any political figure that you like, they want to dominate. The people that you admire in your life. You know, you look at, Martin Luther King in life. He didn't want to just have, some progress. He wanted complete transformation and for his dream to happen. To me, that's a dominant mindset. Tiger Woods on the golf course, man, he wanted to dominate, not just get one win, but win the next week and win the next week. He wanted to chase Jack Nicklaus, which I'll talk about in a minute. Do something great with your life. The real people that want to win, they want to dominate. It's not just, I'd like to get a little one there. They want to do something awesome with their life. And because they have that big vision, they want to crush it. They want to do something significant that elevates the standard. Winning is one standard. Dominating is a whole other standard. And I know that the real winners in life want to be dominant. I don't mean this like, you know what I mean when I say it? Like dominate, meaning the biggest possible win you could get is what dominance means to me. It's not necessarily being better than someone else, although it might be if it's a competition. But what it means is I want to do something big. I want to do something awesome. I don't want to just be small. If I want to live a life of bliss, I want a ton of it. If I want to live of wealth, I want a lot of it. If I want to help if I want to help people, I want to help a lot of people. I want just a little bit. So you got to want to dominate. Number three, you got to get laser focused. Your obsessions become your possessions. So I see so many people say they want to win, but the truth is they're not laser focused. They're not obsessed. See, there are healthy obsessions in life. There are things that are healthy to be obsessed by. And the more you can get obsessed, the more you can get laser focused, the more you can shrink it and get on it. I really believe you show me somebody who believes they deserve to win. And then number two, they want to dominate and get a bunch of winning in their life. And third, they get laser focused. They dial right in on exactly what they want, exactly what they need to do. I'm telling you, this person's going to win. They're going to get what they want. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. It may not even be when you expect it to be, but it's coming. It'll be there eventually. You keep getting after it, a break will eventually come. You keep getting after it, a break comes your way. I'm telling you, but it's not usually in the time frame that we want it to be. And so many people are not laser focused. You have to get into this obsession mode where you want it is something you think about all the time. It's almost like you wake up thinking about it, you go to sleep thinking about it. Middle of the day, you can't get it off your mind, and you work towards it all the time. This is what winners do. Number 4, which is the inverse of this, you got to eliminate distractions. See, if you're going to get laser focused, the only way to do that is the lack of distraction. So you got to make a list. What are the things, like for me, I'll give you an example. Right now, what are the things that distract me? What my phone, right? My phone, social media. By the way, most of you know I've taken a long break from that right now, just sort of focusing on my health and some other things. I got to tell you, that elimination of social media, that elimination of my phone all the time, oh my gosh, was that distracting me from being laser focused on my goals. As a guy, I got to be honest with you. Here's the second thing that distracts me. Sports Center, sports in general. My family says to me all the time, Dad, haven't you watched those highlights already? And the truth of the matter is I have. I'll watch the same highlights of the same game 3 and 4 and 5 times. It's insane. And so for a lot of you, it is sports that distract you or your phone that distracts you. Maybe it's reality TV, maybe distracts you. And then the third thing for me that distracts me is my worries. Just in my case, it's my worries and fears that run through my mind, and they distract me from being focused on what I want. And so it's odd. It's physical distraction for me, like the TV or the phone, but it's also my mind. And it's the worrying and the fears and the what ifs are distracting, and it depletes your energy. It depletes your focus. And so it's eliminating distractions in your life. Let's go through this so far. You show me somebody who completely believes, first off, they get clear on exactly what winning means to them, which almost nobody does. So now you're in the top 5%. Now you believe you deserve it. You've increased that thermostat setting. You don't want to just win a little bit. You want to dominate and get a lot of winning. Third, you are laser focused on your obsessions becoming your possessions. Fourth, you cut out the 2 or 3 things that distract you. You're dangerous. You're going to make something happen. So ask yourself, what distracts you right now? What are the 1 to 3 things that are distracting you most of the time? And eliminate them, or at least reduce them. And if you don't, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. Number 5, I think you have to have the sense of the historic. There's a great article in Newsweek like a million years ago on Tiger Woods' golf mindset back in the day. And it was called The Dominators, by the way. That's where I get that dominate word from. And they wrote about Wayne Gretzky at the time and Tiger Woods and Joe Montana, all these greats in sports, Martina Navratilova, a bunch of different people. It said all of them sort of had a sense they were doing something historic. And you say, well, Ed, I'm not going to build a company that's, Facebook, or maybe you're doing something historic for your own family. Maybe you're changing your family tree forever. Maybe you're breaking some bondage in your family of a way of thinking or pain and trauma in your family, and you're going to shift it. Maybe it's just going to be the first wealthy person. I talk all the time about being the one in your family, that in every family, when you see a happy family or a wealthy family, one or the other or both, that at some point back in their lineage, they probably weren't. And then one person in a family shows up and changes the way they think or the way they live, the way they operate in the world. And to me, that person is doing something historic. Maybe it's building a historic company, right? But your life, I think sense of the historic means my life counts. There's going to be a record of me being here. What do I want it to be? I have a sense that my life ends at one point, and at the end of it, I want it to have amounted to something, that I was born for a reason, that I'm not just, some coincidence, that I matter, that I have a destiny, that what I did counted in this life, that I can't take these things with me when I pass away, but I want to leave something here historically in my life? What do you want to leave? The change you make, the emotions, the memories, the people you helped. Maybe it's the things you gave away, the accumulations, the being the one in your family. Maybe it's building a historic company that changes people's lives. But having a sense of the historic is what winners' mindsets are focused on. Number 6 thing winners' mindsets are focused on are habits. See, the separator is what you do on the days where you're not feeling like it. It's not the days you feel great. It's not the days that you're, wow, everything's great. I woke up, I'm on fire. It's what happens when everything is on fire, when it feels like everything's burning down around you. Under pain, under pressure, we respond reflexively, meaning our habits. So if you have great habits, you've built great habits that when everything's burning, you can function, right? When everything is breaking down around you, or it's not going the way you want, or you just don't feel like it in a given day, or you're experiencing a bunch of failure, that your habits kick in and you're a habit-driven person. You show me somebody with great habits in their life and they can operate on the days that aren't so good. That's the separator for the winners that end up doing something historic, that are dominating in their life. They're a habit-driven person. They built those in because they know, listen, life is about, there are bad days, there are bad months, there are bad seasons, right? Or winter comes for everybody. So since you know that's part of life, why would you not build the reserves around you so that when they come, you can still function? Be a habit-driven person. And that leads me to number 7. You need to have smaller dispersion. And let me tell you what smaller dispersion means. It's the gap in between when you're down and when you're up. It's how long you lay down when you get hit. It's the dispersion of your emotions. So my son is a golfer, and I'm not a very good one. And so my dispersion, meaning how far left or right I can hit a ball, is very, very wide. I can hit one a mile left or a mile right. I play what they call military golf, left, right, left. I don't have one miss. I can miss both ways. If you have a backyard on the left side of the golf course, I can hit a ball in your swimming pool. And if you got one on the right side of the golf course, I hope you got shades to block your windows because I may be coming through them, right? So my dispersion is wide. My son is a better player than me because his dispersion is more narrowed. He can hit it left and right as well, but not as far left or as far right. And for him to be, he's now turning pro to play professional golf. For him to get better and better, he has to shrink his dispersion where, yeah, there's misses left and right, but they're not quite as far left and right. In life and being a winner, you have to have less dispersion in between your good days and your bad days, in between when you're up and down. We're all going to get knocked down. The question is not whether you're even going to lay there for a little bit, because you're going to. The question is how long? How big a dispersion between when you're down and you're up? You understand it? So I have been knocked down many times in my life, as has every person who's won at whatever they want. And we've even laid there for a minute. Everyone says, get back up. Hey, sometimes it's okay to lay there for a minute and assess. There's a reason in boxing they give a standing 8 count, right? It's because you get a chance to assess. There's a reason why there are rounds in the UFC and in boxing, so that you get a chance to sit back down, take a break, recalibrate, reassess, get coached again. So there's nothing wrong with being knocked down, and there's even nothing wrong with laying there for a little bit. But how long you lay there will determine whether you win or not. You've got to shrink your dispersion between the good and the bad, the up and the down. You know, never make a decision in an emotional state. And although emotion matters in business, I have found the most successful people are able to keep the dispersion of their emotions pretty much under control. They never get too low and they never get too high. They don't believe everything's great when it's going great, and they don't believe the world is ending when it's going bad. Somewhere in between the middle there is where they live most of the time. They live with emotional control. They have emotional intelligence. So smaller dispersion really, really matters in life overall. And it'll increase the quality of your life as well. We all get knocked down. We're all going to lay there a little bit, just not too long. Now, number 8 is inevitability. You got to have this feeling that it's inevitable that you're going to win. And I really believe this. See, in the case of the people that win, I may not win right now. I may not win tomorrow. I may not win the next day. I may not even win when you think it, but I just keep coming. I'm like a dripping faucet, man. I just keep getting after it. Keep getting after it. Keep getting after it. See, most people in life will eventually flinch. They'll eventually give in. They'll eventually quit. They'll eventually not be able to take the heat. And you just keep going. You keep getting up. You keep getting up. Just like that faucet that drips. You just keep going and going and dripping. And eventually, it's inevitable that you're going to win. And I'm telling you, most people that win, they've got that mindset of, hey, I may not get you today, I may not get it tomorrow, but guess what? That next day, when you don't see it, I'm still coming after it. I'm still getting after it. I'm going to win. It's inevitable, because here's the thing. I've decided I'm not going to quit in advance. I've decided that I am going to win. I've decided I deserve to win. I'm going to dominate. I'm getting laser focused. I'm eliminating my distractions. I'm making history in the world or in my family. I've got great habits. I've shrunken the dispersion of when I'm up and when I'm down. And this winning thing is inevitable. You got to have that inevitability feeling. I'm built for this. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And the real winners have that mindset. I'm going to get you. I've watched this. I remember when the Patriots were down 28-3 in the Super Bowl. Everyone's like, this thing is over. And I'm sure even most of the team did. I'm even sure there was a bunch of doubt. But at one point, it's like, hey, we're going to score. We're going to put together a good drive. Then they had one. Then they had another. Then the other team, the Falcons, made a couple mistakes, right? Then there's a little bit of break. And then your break comes. It's just inevitable. The teams that win, the people that win have an inevitability to it. And that means it's not confined by time, right? It's probably not going to happen when you think it's going to. But I can tell you this, it's probably better when you win than you think it's going to be. I believe as good as you think it is to make your dream or your vision or your win come true, it's 1,000 times better than you think it is. It just probably isn't going to come the way you think or when you think. It may not even look like what you think it's going to look like. But when it arrives, it's awesome. And it's even sweeter and better than you think it's going to be because of what you had to go through to get there. The story you can tell, the memories, the pride that comes with overcoming all the adversity, all the downs, all the stuff that happens in life. And by the way, the ones that win, the stories they could tell you, the battle scars they wear, the things, the emotional times, the times they wanted to quit, their back was up against the wall so many times where it was so tempting to give in. And once you win, I think one of the things you're most proud of is you just didn't quit. I really believe that. I don't even know that it's always the achievement. I think there's just this thing. I could tell you in my case, that some of the wins I've had, it's like I'm just probably most proud that I was willing to take the pain. I was willing to do it. I loved my family. I loved my dream. I loved my vision more than the pain was great. And there was an inevitability to that happening. You got to believe that. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And then number 9, winners have the fuel finder mindset. You are constantly looking for fuel. You will get inspiration or motivation anywhere you can get it. You know, you can get it from what we call the positive side or what we call the negative side, the light side or the dark side. So I'm looking for fuel, like someone that's doing it already, that wins, that inspires me. Somebody who tells me I can't, a hater, someone who's critical of you, someone's antagonistic towards you, you lever it as fuel, right? You're great at finding fuel. Like I read about Michael Jordan, and he would say, you know, the reason he would play so hard every night is one of the positive light things he would chase. He'd say, I know there's some kid in the stands who this will be the only time that they'll ever see me play in person. They're going to talk the rest of their life about the night they saw MJ play. I'm going to put on the best show I can. The same time, he also leveraged what they call the dark side. Tim Grover, my friend, writes about this, who was Michael's coach, and that he would be constantly finding places to get slighted, things that would make him feel like someone was, you know, taking it away from him or questioning him or doubting him or criticizing him. Tom Brady, to this day, talks about being a 6th-round draft pick, and you can see his face change about all the doubters, all the haters, all the critics, right? You could tell they leverage. They're looking for fuel anywhere they could get it. And the people that don't win don't find the fuel. They don't find the juice. And by the way, it's because they only leverage one side. They only try to find fuel. I see these people now that all they leverage is critics. All they leverage is their enemies. All they leverage is the dark side. All they leverage is the negative stuff. Man, that just wears out after a while. And I also see people that only look for the positive inspiration, and that wears out. You got to be able to pull on both levers. You got to find fuel both ways. If everything you do is just to prove people wrong, man, that's a toxic mindset long term. But it sure works short term when you find it, when it's real. And if all you do is chase bubble gums and rainbows in your dreams, you're avoiding such great inspiration, which is these people that doubt you. I can tell you that many times on my journey, I won't say his name, but I had this chemistry teacher, and I was terrible in chemistry. And he would literally in front of the class say, Eddie Mylett, I can tell you unequivocally that you're not going to win in this life, that you are not qualified, you are not strong enough, you are not smart enough. He would always use, I remember the word unequivocally because I didn't even know what the word meant when he first said it. You are unequivocally unqualified to win in this world, Eddie Mylett. And I've remembered many times in my life just leveraging that thought on this guy who just didn't get it, who had to be miserable in his own life, who just wanted to pick on a pretty decent kid in his class, right? It's all those people. It's all those people that criticized me when I went into business when, I had a college degree and they thought I should have got a job, me wanting to prove them wrong. But it was also my dream of wanting to live oceanfront and take care of my family and pay off my parents' house and all the things I wanted to do in my life and all the people I wanted to help in my life that I wanted to inspire, that I wanted to change. But I'm constantly finding fuel. At this stage in my life, I'm 53 years old. I'm still looking for fuel. It's that next dream, that next vision. It's also, hey, somebody who doesn't think I could do it. Somebody doesn't think I'm qualified. Give me the fuel, man. Give me what I need. I just want to win. So listen, I hope these 9 things help you. I hope that you understand there's 100 other things, but if you believe you deserve to win, if you want to dominate, which means just get all the winning you can get, if you get laser focused, if you eliminate most of your distractions, if you have some sense that what you're doing matters and it's historic, if you get the great habits in your life and you're habit driven, even on the bad days, you shrink your dispersion where you get down, you get knocked down, you might lay there, but not too long. You get up faster than you used to. You get up faster. And listen to me, you keep getting up, you keep coming at it, you keep charging, you keep pursuing because number 8, there's an inevitability to you winning. And if I just keep getting up, that faucet that's dripping, right? I keep getting up, I keep overcoming. I'm willing to take things, the pain most people will never take. That tells me there's an inevitability to me winning. And it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it's coming. That win is mine. I'm entitled to it because of all the work I've done in my life. Eventually, it's mine. And then number 9, you got to find fuel. You got to find inspiration and motivation wherever you can get it. However you can get it, positive or negative. Give me the fuel, man, because that's the juice that causes you. So listen, if your fuel fire is greater than the fires burning around you, you're going to win. But the minute the fires around you, the flames around you are much bigger than the fuel you're finding. And by the way, sometimes those flames around you can be the fuel. No one thinks you can get out. No one thinks you're going to make it. Nobody believes in you. Nobody's picking you. But you pick you. You know it, that there's a way forward for you in your life. So I could just tell you, I believe you were born to win. I believe you were born to do something great with your life. And I mean that like you. I mean that because in my faith, I just believe that you were made with a purpose. And I believe that you were made with a mission in your life. And one of the great days is just when you kind of discover, for now, this is what mine is. And then you pursue it. I do the work I do just hoping that for somebody listening, they wake up and go, wait a minute, I do deserve to win. Or you know what? I've been thinking I deserve to win and everybody around me thinks I'm crazy. You're not crazy. You're not crazy. They're crazy for not believing in you. You're not crazy to be a dreamer. You're not crazy to want to do something special with your life. You're not crazy to want to be happy. You're not crazy to want to make a difference. You're not crazy to think that you were born with a purpose. Anybody who doesn't believe that about you, they're the crazy ones. And by the way, I think it's kind of weird that you're a dreamer. And I really believe this. Weird, rich, normal, poor. And I don't mean just in money. I mean in emotions and memories and experience and contribution. The weird ones always win. The normal ones, that's average and ordinary. I would challenge you to be a little bit weird. All right? So I hope today helped you. I purposely put this out today with a sense that more and more people need to be reminded that they were born to do something great. And I know I need reminding of it. And so if you did have that person when you were a little boy or a little girl that made you feel special, let me say once again, they were right. And if you didn't have that person, I apply for the position to remind you today. Okay? I hope today made a difference for you or your family. If it did, maybe share this episode with somebody. It's an honor to me that you listen when you listen and that you believe I have something of value to help contribute to your life. I can tell you that it's one of the great rewards of my life is thinking that in any way, shape, or form, I've helped you do something good with yours.